What if fear is the very thing standing between you and the life you've meant to live? What if the answers to life's greatest mysteries, loss, love, destiny, the afterlife, and even unsolved crime are closer than we think? Well, today my guest has spent years exploring those questions from a perspective few people can. She is a world-renowned psychic medium, intuitive investigator, and spiritual teacher who has worked with law enforcement, high-profile clients, and families searching for answers during some of life's most challenging moments. Jennifer Shaffer has appeared on Gaia, collaborated with filmmaker Richard Martini, and recently joined Jimmy Church to explore the mysteries surrounding Amelia Earhart, consciousness, and our connections to the unseen world. Today we'll discuss psychic abilities, communicating with the other side, solving criminal investigations, overcoming fear, and what Jennifer has learned after years of helping people navigate grief, healing, and life's biggest questions. Whether you're curious about the paranormal world, spirituality, or just hidden connections that shape our lives, you're in for a fascinating conversation. I'm Tony Sweet with Truth Be Told. Please welcome back to the Truth Be Told studios, world-renowned psychic medium, Jennifer Shaffer. Well, I have to say the two blondes are in the house. Mine's a little less blonde these days, but hi Jennifer, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. The last time I think I saw you was 2023 at Parapod Festival.
Which was amazing.
Thank you. You know, that was my first, not necessarily my last. I just have been doing the Parapod Podcast Awards, and then, you know, I got moved to a new location, so I'm going to start doing small events. So I might be calling you very soon. So
Okay. Can't wait.
But since then, even before that, but since then, you've had a lot going on in your life. I mean, you are one of these psychic mediums that just have broken the glass ceiling and have taken the entertainment world by storm. In fact, you and Richard Martini just did a segment on Jimmy Church show Beyond Belief. Can you talk about that? Because I love Richard. I haven't seen him forever either. So
Richard has pushed me to the limits of understanding what this is, even with him not even knowing it. Like for the last 10 years, he's been my work husband. For the last
yeah,
10 years.
You guys have worked a lot together.
And
yes.
We have seen each other more than probably anybody else, because every week, every Thursday, we're like, what time? We just figure it out, and it works. And we have no plans. We just see what happens. And I think that's why it's made it kind of magical that way.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's been on Gaia. He has movies on Gaia. I've been on Gaia because of him. But they asked him, like, we've never done this before, but would you and Jennifer come on? We've never had two people. Oh, perfect. A menage with Jimmy Church. That's amazing.
That's right. I mean, the best one you can have right there.
So it was actually, I was so grateful for Richard. And I can't tell you how great Gaia is. I had no idea. They took care of everything, even down to the spending. Like, it was just one of those crazy things that just being on it is an honor. And it was, I used, 10 years ago, I'm like, as a geek in this metaphysical world, I'm like, that would be amazing. Like, I love the shows. Like, now the shows it's so funny because they were so out there before and now they're not.
Right.
Not anymore.
Right.
Aliens are here. We've always known that. Plasma is a thing. Like, there's like, so it was such a great experience. And then I forgot about it. And then it showed up yesterday. I'm like, what?
That's a nice surprise.
Well, this is amazing. And it was just a great, it was a great experience. Just like Parapods, that festival that your first one, that was a great experience with Colby.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great experience. It was super fun to be there.
I loved just having you guys there. You guys made it even better. So
thank you for having us. So it's been a very interesting ride. And just like with the entertainment industry, what I feel like I've done is how do you quantify if I'm telling someone how to keep an employee that's dealing with eight zeros and what to do and what attorney to do and who, like I meet with CEOs and CFOs and whatever it is, everybody has their issues.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you quantify this work if you're able to if you're able to give them information that's going to make them a gazillion dollars,
Right.
or if you're giving them information to keep someone that would have costed them a lot of money that didn't? Like, how do you quantify this? You just do what you do.
Yeah.
And then people find out, and then they tell their friends, they're like, they want to keep, it's funny because the Hollywood community wants to keep you by themselves. But then they're like, you know what, I can't do that anymore. I have to
Yeah.
like eventually Jessica Alba said, okay, I'll tell
Now, I was a
but
personal
it's
trainer years ago, and I remember my clients, they did not want to share me because they wanted time slots for them, or and as I mean, we were like therapists in a way, and I think even psychic mediums are very therapeutic in a lot of ways too. So there's a lot of connections there. I dealt with body, you dealt with spirit. The show that you did with Jimmy was about Amelia Earhart. Is that correct?
so interesting backstory.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
how did that topic come into the play?
People don't know this, but I've been channeling forever. That's just what we do. But I don't have to sit there and let someone overtake it's just different with me. This is how I do it. Everybody does this differently, and that's what they need to know as well.
Right.
People, be yourselves, do whatever this is on your own. Like, you don't feel like you have to conform to a certain way. That being said, I listened to Richard's This Is a Wonderful Afterlife during Thanksgiving one day. I promise you I'll make this short.
Yeah.
During Thanksgiving Day. And I do a lot of dishes because my husband did all the cooking. So I had like 7 hours. And back then you had to literally, it took like 7 hours to actually get the book uploaded to.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and I was in heaven, like, oh my gosh. And he kept talking about Santa Monica. And I'm like, I'm going to reach out to him and see if he wants, because I have offered my brain to be studied in every different place you can possibly imagine, which they have. And so I'm like, why can't he, like, let's figure this out. So I DM'd him and said, I would love to be part of your research. I would help you. I would donate my time. And his reply was, sure, let's get on a call. And I'm like, I screenshotted it because I was such a dork. I'm like, oh my God, Martini, he's sweet. And I ended up talking to him. And he's like, yeah, I'm not interested in mediums, really. I deal with, blah, blah, blah. And he was dealing with past life regressions and stuff like that. I'm like, and he goes, wait, you're an investigator? I'm like, yeah, I'm working on very high profile cases right now with William Bratton and several people in New York. This was a long time ago. And he goes, well, okay, uh, I have a case for you. And he tell me what it was. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm capable of. I've learned to say, okay. So he comes down to my office and we film it for 3 hours about Amelia. He says, I want you to look into this, probably a very significant case. And so people that don't know Richard Martini actually is the number one guy that all of Hollywood goes to for Amelia Earhart information.
Mm-hmm.
He has studied everything. During that time, I gave him information that he did not know about in his research. And I said to him, two GIs found her arm. This is one of like many things that I said. And he's like, okay, don't judge it. It's his famous line, don't judge it. And he left my office, and 10 minutes later, somebody from the government called him and said, hey, Richard, you're not going to believe this, but we found something that said that Amelia Earhart, like two GIs found her arm.
Oh
And
my
he
God.
had to pull over because he didn't know this information until I told him. And then somebody from the government called him. He says it better. So and he wrote a book about Amelia Earhart, which has been like, where is she? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been talking to Amelia Earhart for the last 10 years. I've been talking to a lot of people for the last 10 years. So they're like, can we get Jennifer on and we'll talk about your book and see? And then he didn't tell me that they were in the middle of it. Hey, can you just channel her? Do you need some time? I'm like, no, she's here. Like they're like thinking, like, she's here. And then they started, it was actually a fact, like it was fascinating for Jimmy Church to ask me questions. And it was very challenging for Richard Martini to not say anything. As you, that's his biggest thing. His biggest complaint is like, you interrupt Jennifer. I interrupt him way more. But it was one of my most favorite it was a great interview with Jimmy Church. And people don't understand that they have the ability to connect. It takes a long time to actually feel like you do. And one of the greatest gifts that Richard gave me was making me believe that I did.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he knows everything about Hollywood. He has all these connections, and
Yeah.
it was very interesting.
So when Jimmy, because Jimmy's a pro, he does his research and he just has a way of communicating to
Like
not.
you, though.
What'd you say?
He's like you. You guys are the same with the way that you interview.
Oh, thank you, but I'll take that as a compliment because I look up to Jimmy. He's great. Yeah, I mean to have. Because Jimmy always comes across, because some people just agree with everything, but Jimmy comes across with some hard questions and not necessarily he's skeptic, but there's a perspective from people out there that are skeptical about just psychics in general.
Hey,
What?
my own work. Like I don't believe the other side when they tell me, like, "Hey, this is Dad. I'm this name." I'm like, "No, I don't." And sure enough, it is. Like, I don't even know why I question it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I get like be a healthy skeptic.
Yeah, I think it's very healthy, and because I've listened to a lot of people. There's many that I'm like, okay, I could see that, but there's some where I'm like, I don't know, I'm not there yet. But being under the pressure of television lights and cameras in your face, I mean, you have to still have a performance, but how do you keep your sanity when it comes to being able to perform your psychic abilities without nervousness or anything like that, kind of putting a curtain over that? How do you deal with it personally? Because I would think, maybe you're used to it now, but I would think that would be something that might play a.
It absolutely does. So, but when I first started this, I was working on a case, and a girlfriend of mine was working with Ricky Lake, and she goes, "Why don't you come in and talk about a case?" I'm like, "Sure." It was literally like being asked if you played a little bit of basketball to play in the NBA in the finals, like they're happening right now, in the finals right now with the biggest players in the world. It was John Holland and Marine Hancock. Can you read an audience? I'm like, I don't know. Okay. I just got thrown into it.
Wow.
So in the beginning, I got thrown into it and it worked. And I think being in LA and knowing a lot of celebrities, even without this work, and they don't even think of themselves like that. I mean, I deal with gazillionaires that, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm more concerned about the mom.
Yeah.
I'm more,
Yeah.
but back to your question, it takes years to get over the fear. Otherwise, there would be a lot better mediums out there. There's a lot of mediums, there's a lot of
Yeah.
psychics, but it takes a lot to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I might be wrong in my interpretation.
Yeah.
Once I admitted that, then everything else came. Like once I got over that fear of being wrong, then my whole world opened up. And I'll go down to the beach. I will talk to my dragon, who I think is there. I will talk to like I have this system that I deal with, but I never have to. I have chosen never to turn this off. That's the thing. But I just don't go around reading everyone.
Wow. Wow.
Fear is the number one thing in living your authentic self. If I did not live my authentic self, that's where things get skewed. You try to live a different path, which I have, things do not work out well. You
Yeah.
get that fear, get that insecurity because there's something inside of you, your innate intelligence that's sending it out, to something that's scientifically backed now, which is your electromagnetic field, which the earth has, like everything that's tying us together as one, it's a mirror. So anything you put out there comes right back tenfold. So what
Hmm.
are you putting out there, right? I've decided for myself that I wanted to be fearless with my work and be the best medium I could ever be for myself.
Mm.
When you quit comparing yourself to other people, Colby is fucking amazing. There's amazing mediums, but everybody has a different choice in who they go to. It
Right.
doesn't matter. The more that you help other people with your same work, the more elevated the whole work gets. That's what people don't understand. If you think of, I don't know why I keep saying basketball, probably because of the finals.
Right.
I used to love to bet I used to love to gamble until I actually knew what I had. And then it doesn't work anymore.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So if you think about everything that Colby does or everything that Lisa Williams does, everybody that does Cindy Kaza, when they elevate this work, we all get elevated.
Yeah,
So
for
why
sure.
don't you help everyone that you can within the work? It's not a
Hmm.
competition. Nobody, by the way, nobody wakes up one day saying, I'm going to go ahead and talk to dead people. It's
Right.
people are like, are you on drugs? Are you okay?
Especially 20 some years ago and before that, if you said that, people did think you were completely nuts.
Same with the people that believe in aliens. Hello.
Oh yeah, same here. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, even early 2000s, people would talk about aliens and people would be like, "Oh, okay, okay." But now when you say even just what I do a paranormal show and I talk to you, I feel, "Oh my gosh." And then now they get excited and they tell their stories and it's funny how it's just a perspective of being more accepted. And I think that's like you're saying, if you accept yourself without even worrying about other people, your true self is going to come through. And even these gifts.
Yeah, well, the only thing that so when I read a bunch of seniors for my daughter's sorority, 40 seniors, and I
40.
actually
Oh my God.
I started hyperventilating because of senior week. I'm like, these girls are going out to the world. What is it that I can impart that is going to help them the most? Like, this is a huge responsibility. Every reading is a huge responsibility. But I took this as I'm like, oh my goodness. And I kept getting, they have to know that being their authentic selves will make their health better,
Hmm.
will make their love life better, will make their whole world better. But they have to also let the people that don't know who they are give them the chance to know,
Hmm.
like their. And it was just when I received that, because a lot of times we think we have to be a certain way because our parents are going to disagree,
Right.
and they might. But have you ever thought about giving them the chance to understand it? No one does. No one does, right? I was raised Mormon. My dad was a Mormon bishop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. That was my biggest fear. And sometimes the things that we fear the most are the things that we should be doing.
Hmm. No, it's
But
true.
we have to let them have time. I had years of understanding who I was, but we have to have them have time to kind of come to terms with it. Anyway.
I used to actually it's funny, truth be told, and I'm also Sagittarius, and it's one of the things that says seeker of truth. But I think truth always scared me. Where now I love talking about the truth, and that's what's funny. How growing up I was so scared of speaking the truth and seeking the truth, and now it's completely opposite.
If everyone knew they were supposed to break the paradigms and that sometimes the paradigms that we were born with, like I was raised Mormon, but it kept me alive because I thought about death all the time. I actually thought about
Oh,
suicide, but
really?
Mormons actually believe if you had suicide, then you wouldn't get to the heaven.
Yeah.
So it kept me alive. So there's things that like because we think about things that eventually we'll be doing, but no one has a death school. No one has an alien school. So it's
Right. Right.
unfamiliar territory,
Right.
right? So how do we come to terms with that? How do we deal with that? There's no death. So it's something that I think that by being Mormon, it kept me alive. So was that wrong? So you have to take all the good things that you were raised with to become who you are because you actually need the opposite to show
Mm,
up,
that makes
right?
sense. Totally makes sense. Man, you're also deep. You're not only just this beautiful, talented psychic, but you're also very deep, and I love that about you. And what's funny is if you look at your pictures and see you in person, you would not think this woman would be interested in criminal investigations of murder mysteries. How in the heck did you get started doing this work with like the FBI and LA Police Department? How did that even begin, and how did you even want to tackle that type of connection?
So when I first was coming out of my closet, I was thrown something. There was somebody that passed away on our street, and no one knew exactly why. And I received all the information in one night of why he passed, what was going to happen. His wife was going to come to me in the next. And I was not a medium or a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to spell psychic. I'm like, what is that? Um, and what I learned from that, going into the FBI, I was really good at investigations. So it taught me something. And then word got out because of our community in Manhattan Beach. And then something else happened. One of my first cases, which is still very profound today, um, I just have learned that I need to give the information that I get, but yet it doesn't mean it's going to win in court. It doesn't mean that we're going to get a
Right.
person, kill the person. Crimes I was obsessed with as a child, as well as the afterlife. So, like, Ghost was one of my favorite
Oh, I know.
movies.
Yeah, me
With
too.
like Warren Beatty with Heaven, Can't Wait for Heaven, or what is it? Oh,
I
I'll think of it
remember that one.
way too long today. So, conscious information. Heaven Can Wait. Sorry.
What?
Um, so if you look back at what you loved for a child as a child and what you were afraid of, it all kind of commingles later on. It just does in some way. So some people that thought about death might be a medical worker or might be,
Right.
they might be in forensics. They don't know, but there's no death school, so they have to figure it out. So like we talked about earlier. But so crime work, once I started doing that, I had an FBI agent that came into my office for personal reasons, and that just blew up. She's like, wait, you can what? You can do this if you've helped me. And then I started working with literally the dream team in LA.
Wow.
And it was something that I would give information, and then they would go make, every time they would go make a bust, I'm like, you need to avoid this, you need to avoid that because of fentanyl, because they
Oh.
send in dogs. I basically, as my friend would say, she goes, you replace the bitches. And so I would tell them what to avoid and when to call the hazmat team in it. And it just kept happening over and over and over again that it was right. And I'm like, well, I think I could have a private practice. I did it the reverse. Most people have a private practice and then they go into crime. I just had this sense of this unjust world that I needed to figure out. And if I can work with FBI agents, then I felt like I can work with other stuff, other things, right?
Yeah,
And
of course.
even the medical world, like dealing with them, like people come to me from all over the world just for medical readings.
Wow.
Not something. Yeah, I can say this on air. I actually saved Arnold Schwarzenegger's life. Yeah, I
What
don't think,
was this like a heart thing?
no. So Maria Shriver
Mm-hmm.
put thread. I don't think she'd mind me saying this. Put me on a thread with her daughter and said, "Can you talk to my daughter about Arnold? He was in the hospital. This was a while ago. This was a couple of years ago or a year ago." And so I told her, I said, "This is what's going on with him." But I'm like, they need to find the blood clot in the right leg. Totally forgot. Comes through and leaves. Fast forward, she tells Arnold, because no one knew when he was in the hospital. They were actually wondering if he should be, he had some issues. And I said, he's gonna be fine, but they have to find it. And the doctor said, no, he doesn't have one. 5 days later, they found it exactly where I told
Oh, that's crazy.
over and over and over again. I'm like, you have endometriosis, you have this, you have that, you have this. And so even with health reasons, like there's, either you have something hurting with your foot or your partner does.
Right, right. Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, how do you handle the emotional aspect of working with, That's where wine and spirits comes from. But the missing persons and homicide cases, and even cases where people are desperate for, with their health condition. How do you emotionally disconnect? I guess you don't want to disconnect because you want the full effect of getting the answers, but how do you disconnect from it affecting you?
So when I was working on several cases, three cases all at once that were incredibly heavy, I call it challenging content. And literally one, their daughter was murdered. I had to tell a parent that her new husband was, doing something to the children. And then I had something else where I was dealing with a whole, like this woman that went missing, who the DEA and the FBI was involved. So obviously there was a lot of things. And so all in one night that happened. And then a week later, as I'm leading literally 12 agents through an airport to go find someone, the night before I called off them because I said to them, I'm like, I was talking to everybody on speakerphone, I'm like, I'm getting too much information. Let's reconvene the next morning. So they went to the place. It's a long story, but they went to the place, and I knew this was the place. They went in, and her blood was there, but she wasn't. It was too late. And so I felt like it was my fault because I called it off the night before. So the next day, I couldn't get out of bed, and my husband was like, "You can't do this anymore. You just can't do this anymore. It's taking too much time away from the family," which he was right. And it's taking its toll. And I'm like, how do I do this? So back to your question, how do I do this and remain, you know, okay with the world? And there was something really spectacular that happened that I want everyone, if they could, to understand because it might help them. I felt something tell me, you're not God. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Of course I'm not. I'm far from it.
Right.
And I had this overwhelming feeling that they're saying, well, you're judging. You're judging the perpetrator. You're judging the person that was killed. What if there's an equalizer out there? God, universe, please don't get caught up on semantics out there. What if you didn't have any control over that? You just had to get in, do your job, let people know what information you have, and get out. And know that there's an
Smart.
equalizer to handle it. And I'm like, and it might not, so it might, and hear me out. It might not that they get their penance or they get their, whatever it is, their demise, the people that do things in this life. It might be in another life that they get punished for it. But we are not in control of that. But there is an equalizer that everything has to equalize out. So for some reason, it did something to my heart that changed it to where I can get in and get out. And I've made it my mission. Yes, the only thing I cannot shield is children. I work with moms that have kids that have cancer.
Oh, so that would just be heartbreaking.
And there's things that I cannot shield, and it's always like that. It's always a child. So when I come home at night, my husband he has a wine glass for me, and he's like, "So how was your day?" And I'm like, we don't discuss it. I just say it was challenging content or it was a great day, which means I only had love questions or whatever. And that's it. And it goes away. I just know there's an equalizer out there. I learn from it, and what it's really taught me is how to live.
That's
It has
that's a great takeaway.
taught me how to live. Like every moment is precious. The biggest thing that they've studied is emotions on what it does to your brain and how serotonin happens and how it reflects in the atmosphere. And the sense of awe is the biggest thing. So what is your awe moment? Where is it? Like mine is the beach, going to the water. Other moments, sure, but that's usually my awe because there's always something. And then if you want to get more connected, you ask the water, can I enter?
Oh, that's nice. Wow.
Can I enter? And when I did that, I get pictures of me either going on a rocky boat, which means that my day is going to be a little bit rocky, or me up on top of something that's showing me that it's just going to fly.
Queen of the world.
Always right, though. But there's so your question was that, but to be locked and loaded with all of it is we're not in charge of what is going on, but we're in charge of helping.
Mm.
And so the only way to help is to not take it on if you want to be good at what you do with anything.
I love that. I love that the way you interpreted that, and I love that it actually, like you said, the takeaway is to live life.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm curious about, because when bad things happen, we talk about, God gave us free will, and which is great, but also we've heard about predestination. How do we know?
Did he?
Well, men who wrote the Bible said that, but destiny. When it comes to people, let's say they die, they get cancer and they die. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say this is true. Or if somebody gets murdered or goes missing, all these things, as a psychic, is some of these things predestined for us? Or is that just some tragic accidents that just happen, that we took the wrong, like the yellow brick road, when the yellow brick road splits and she goes through the wicked forest, where the other road might have been easier. I mean, as a psychic, how do you explain the predestiny versus tragedy in our life?
So I'm actually looking into it because I
Oh,
have my conscious information, but I was just given something else that was actually makes more sense, which I didn't know. Um, I do, but I didn't. So we come in here with groups.
mm-hmm.
Just say we're best friends in heaven. And Tony, you're like, I need you to make sure that I know what forgiveness is like.
Mm,
I'm going to choose to be your mom. And you're like, you're going to need to leave my dad. And you're going to need to be an absolute bitch to me and let me be on my own. So I have to figure who I am.
mm.
And I'm gonna be like, of course, that's gonna be fun. And so we come down here. So I know what your question is, but it's not just us. It's not just me. I'm playing a role for my son. I'm playing a role for my daughter. I'm playing a role for my husband.
Right.
Have them go through what they're going through. So predestiny, we have a plan that you need forgiveness. Does it work out that way? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I do fall in love with you and I'm like, fuck you, universe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, please, you go for it.
And so, and so I'm like, no, I'm never gonna leave Tony. But it's a different way. You have a boyfriend who leaves you, or you have a
Right.
dad that leaves you. I'm
Right.
like, we figure it, but it just changed. So the dynamics change.
Okay.
The destiny might not.
Mm. That's a good, yeah.
I have never said this before, but that's what I was getting because I looked into I'm like, wait, oh, my dad and mom played a part as being Mormon, the best Mormons in the world. I'm so grateful for them. And because of them, I had to figure
Wow.
out who I was,
Mm.
right?
I love that. I love that answer.
Yeah. So I actually do not believe everything happens for a reason. Now it makes sense, not the way it does, but I
Mm-hmm.
do that the underlying feelings and emotions do.
Because I know I've went through life where you're like, life is going pretty smooth and things are going pretty good, and then wham, out of nowhere, you're like, okay. As younger, it was just like, why me? But then as I gotten over, I'm like, well, maybe that was just supposed to happen. Maybe that was supposed to, I'm going down this road and it's kicking my tush to go this direction. And now I'm anything that throws curveballs at me, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
So what if, and this is the other thing that I have fully embraced more, is that it saves you from something so much worse.
True. That is true.
Now when anything happens, I'm like, and I'm not like, believe me, when my dad died from pancreatic cancer, I was like,
Yeah.
I am out of here. I am so mad. I will, but I'm in the one industry that if I quit my job,
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to talk to him. Like
Right.
what?
Oh, right. Yeah.
What? Right? So I had to deal with the band-aid of everybody in front of me. My dad's name is Jim. He died. I'm like, you know, I was so
That's a
angry.
tough one too.
I was so angry, but you know what? So I always thought he was going to die from a heart attack. Every time I went run, I'm like, okay, did we say our goodbyes as a joke? He died from pain. Well, my brothers needed a month. Now, in hindsight, I think things happen for a reason in hindsight because you're able to see the underlying threads.
Mm-hmm.
My dad needed to be alive for at least a month so my brothers could get closure.
Wow.
Maybe that's the reason why it happened that way.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all these things that we think about, but they're not like the predestiny thing. Yes, we're predestined for a lot of greatness. And I think that each one of us has different karmas in different times of our lives. I think that we have one life, but we have different karmas that come in with our life. Like right now, you are meant to have an easier life. You are meant for that. Last year it started, it feels like it started in September. You had a little bump in November, but that wasn't even it didn't even have to do with you. It had to do with somebody else.
Right.
Right?
It's true. Right.
I don't know, but this is just what I'm getting. And in February, like, I don't know what I want to do. But
It's
you
true.
have something, then something came in March, and then something like you have something big in June, like this month. Like you have so many things that are happening. But the things that we think are going to happen that we really want sometimes don't matter and they don't happen that way.
What's funny is the things I used to want 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I don't even care if I get them anymore. I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why I didn't get it, because it made me realize eventually that didn't mean that much to me. And it would have kept me in a different direction. So yeah, I get what you're saying, because it does protect us from a lot of things. In fact, you talked about your dad passing away. So in 2018, my mother passed away. She was in a nursing home. She was a veterans nursing home. And then my dad passed away in February, 90 years old, at the VA nursing home where my mom passed. But one thing that I found, and that I felt like, I was the youngest, so I was always the most responsible. I just, always
Still are.
I know. With all of them. Yeah, I always said I'm the normal one. But one thing that I found as a gift, I was so scared about losing my mother. I just prayed, don't take my mom. But maybe 6 months before she passed, something changed in me where it was like, I'm actually okay when she goes. About 3 weeks before she passed away, she told me, because we talked almost every day, I think I'm ready. And I was like, oh. I wasn't like, oh, Mom, don't do it. I was like, if, that's between you and God, or what, however, what she believed. But
She had a pinky swear with you. Like she showed me like a little knot, like a string, and like a little thread, it feels like. But she had a pinky swear with you.
Well, one thing that we did pinky swear, that whoever goes first, we will meet them when we did have that. If I went first, I would greet her when it was Mom's time, and vice versa. Of course, she went before me. But then when my dad, who was always, he was that country boy, and never said I love you, never hugged, hardly ever. He started the last year starting to be a little more emotional. But then about 4 days before he passed away, he says, I'm ready to go home. And he knew he couldn't go home because we had sold his house. And I took it as he was ready to go. I said, wow, both of my parents, right before they passed away. Do you hear that often as a psychic where they verbally say it? Or is that it, or did I get a gift from both of my parents?
You actually got a gift. It's the other way around when the child or grown adult set, like I always get the information. I'm like, you actually gave them permission. I never looked to see who asked though.
Hmm.
I always, even today with someone, her dad passed away, and I'm like, he's saying, you have to know the last 2 days was just my body that was dying. I was
Mm,
tied to it, but I never felt a thing. And he says, thank you for letting me go.
wow.
And that's the case, but they might not have said it out loud, but you
Hmm.
actually got a great gift because it gave something in your consciousness, in your subconscious, in your etheric realm. They were telling you something you already innately knew,
Mm. Oh, yeah.
but it allowed you to have it resolve. Like it allowed you to accept it more. You were given a gift. I haven't heard that usually.
Yeah. I've never heard it
I have
either.
heard, I have heard because I've had this happen with three different friends slash clients who told me 6 months before, like, I feel like death is around because they were dealing with
Mm,
other deaths, but they died.
mm.
So I don't know how to interpret that, but they kind of knew they were going, but it was 6 months before. It was
Yeah.
very,
Well, that was pretty. I mean, it's fascinating because my dad was always. In fact, I think he was scared because I don't think he really believed in the afterlife. Um,
like a month before, he said.
well, what's funny, the nurses told me he started going into the chapel and I was like, my dad did. And so I think he was trying to make amends or trying to have a connection with the spirit world.
Oh,
Um,
he's a good guy. It
hmm.
was actually, your dad was a good
Oh,
guy.
everybody loved my dad.
Everyone loved your dad, but your dad, it was more about his family,
Hmm.
like his family that he was making amends with.
Oh,
Like, hold on. I was worried it was a lineage thing.
oh. And I know what you're talking about.
And so he broke the pattern of his family.
Hmm.
You made it so much better,
Hmm.
but he just wanted to make sure nobody else had to have that, I guess.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. No, he with the last name of Sweet. I always said it would be kind of ironic if if we were kind of dickheads, but
It was nothing bad. It was nothing, but it was just, I think a family member like gambling or whatever. Like he just didn't know.
oh my gosh. Okay, I'll have to tell you off air about that. But well, Jennifer, I don't want to keep you because we've been almost 45 minutes, but I wanted to have you on because first of all, I've been so proud of you because you've worked so hard to bring relief to people. Your ideas are becoming reality. I mean, I saw in the news that you had a potential, not even a potential, you sold something to somebody and now it might see on television. Can you tell us about that, please?
Oh, Jessica, who's a dear friend of mine, Jessica Alba, which I still
She's
find.
beautiful too. My God.
Do you know what it's like hanging around someone like that?
Oh, please. You're just as
Um,
beautiful. So hush.
she's a very dear friend, and she's just like, with all the cases I've worked on, and that's how it started. And so we sold something to Fox, which don't get up, you know, Fox Studios, but we're looking to sell something else to other people. Like it's just what I want to do for my industry is make this more normal. And I try to make it as normal as possible and keep the magic.
Mm,
Like we need the magic of the ethers.
we
And
do.
if everyone knew that every single thing that they thought of affects someone else and not just yourself,
Yeah.
like there's so many people that are going through life with as electronic like trash collectors, and then they tag going on with their own. Half the people I see, it's not even their own
Mm,
stuff that they're dealing with.
yeah.
And if between that and you're not living your authentic self, you have to look at living your authentic self, no matter what anybody says, is worth your life not having disease, because that's where disease comes from. It comes from holding back.
Yeah.
And I've more and more and more. And so that's one of my missions too. And the fact that no one from the other side has ever told me they wish they would have held back. They're
Hmm.
like, take that kiss up against the wall. Like, what are you doing? You're wasting your bodies being in your head and
Yeah.
not for the right?
Oh no, please. I used to, because what's funny is my mom used to say, "Oh, don't say anything. You might make somebody mad, or it might make your dad mad." And when I hit a certain, I'm like, "Listen."
Your dad loves you. Both your parents love you so much and are
Aw,
so super proud of who you are.
yeah.
And you have an aunt that didn't believe in it that does now too.
What'd you say on that one?
That you have an aunt that didn't believe in it or didn't believe in this or something like that, believes in it now too.
What's
I was like,
funny? I had an Aunt Opal. Not saying that's who it is, but she used to call me. It was my great aunt, my dad's aunt.
yeah,
She
your dad, she told me it was you on your dad's side. She's like, I'm the one. She
she
goes,
she
totally
used to
believes
call
in
me a
it.
little angel. She goes, "You are." She always called me a little angel. She always protected me from so many things. So, thank you, Aunt Opal.
Still doing it.
Can you believe I always say my grandmother was Blanche, her sister is Opal, Velda. Those are old names, but I appreciate you, Jennifer. And people can go to your website, jennifershaffer.com. And I know you have a podcast, right?
After Martini, yes, hacking the afterlife. People like my friends, they're like, why do I have to go to your podcast to find out what you're doing?
Right, because you're doing a lot. Doing a lot. Well, we love
Well,
you.
thank you so much for having me, and thank you for believing in this. Like years ago, I fell in love with you. I'm so
Aw,
excited about your life
thank you.
as well.
Thank
And
you. Well, we'll have to catch up even more outside of the studio.
perfect.
But thank you, Jennifer Shaffer, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this episode of Truth Be Told, the Paranormal on the Club Paranormal Network. And we thank you for tuning in all these years, and leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye-bye.